All right. Y'all know what the word says. Sometimes what was meant for evil ends up working out for our good. And while I'll say it's our good, because I have had the opportunity now to talk to Miss India Hartman twice. Now, see, that's when God work out something good, that you get to talk to somebody twice. So for you all that might have missed part one, we're jumping into part two because we had a lot of technical difficulties on that particular Saturday. And I know it was really the enemy trying to make sure we did not get this story out because there are a lot of people who are on this journey. And I just want to remind you all of what our foundation scripture was, and that is Second Corinthians 1 3 through 4. And it's basically praise to the God of all comfort. He comforts us through our trials and tribulations so we can comfort others through their troubles. So I know this is what this woman of God, she has been through her own trials and tribulations so she can comfort other people. And we're not going to rewind all the way back to the beginning because y'all going to have to watch part one and part two to get the whole understanding of who India Hartman is. What I really want to do is make sure that you did not miss why did Mothers of Angels get started? What was her journey and what does she do for her community and the people who are attached to it? Because I know you know somebody that needs to be in that community. It might just be you. So let's hear about her story and hear how she can support you on your journey. All right.
Definitely, so basically, Mothers of Angels started out of my own trauma. Let's go back there. Basically, it started for me with the loss. The last loss the actual loss that had me started all was September 2019. Loss. I had previous loss before then of two, a set of twins. So that was my third loss. And at that moment, I literally said, God, what exactly do you want me to do with this pain? You know, what do you want me to do with this hurt? What do you want birth out of this? Of course, you're not really thinking first, God, what you want me to do. First, you're thinking, why did this happen to me? Oh my gosh, I can't stand this. Oh my gosh, like you're thinking more negatively and everything. But I know I'm a person that I like God gives me revelation. So when something happens like to me, I'm more so like, okay, what can I get out of this? You know. So basically, that was one of the main things that I literally asked myself. Can you hear me? Get your end froze. All right, everyone. I think her end froze. Hmm. Is yours working now?
Yeah, it just went out again too. You know what? That ain't nothing.
I
I'm like, what
told
the
everybody I
world?
said I think hers froze.
Yeah. I was like, now mine trying to act crazy. I was like, okay, we gonna get with
Okay.
this. We gonna push through today, y'all. No matter who's scrolling and who rolling, we gonna push on. But I heard the part that you went through three losses. And what I like what that you said is our first reaction is not necessarily, what is it that you want me to do from this? But once we, get to a place when God don't never answer us in our pity party, we're able to say, okay, God, what is the lesson? And how can I teach somebody else this lesson, to empower them? So I like those things that you were saying. So that is a great place for people who are going through grief, who are dealing with grief. As your response and your reaction change to that hurt, if you're still in that same place, you still mad at God, you still asking them same questions, and God ain't answered, that might be a reason because you hadn't asked the question that He's ready to answer for you. So I think that's very important for people.
It definitely is. And that isn't your first response. Of course you're gonna be hurt first.
Mm,
And everything. Your first response is God, why? Why me? All those type of questions, they're normal.
yeah,
I will never let anyone tell you that they're not normal. Like even when I speak to people that lose kids daily, I don't go back and from, well, God trying to tell you something. No, that's not how you respond to people, because grief is something totally different. And everything. There's many stages of healing, but definitely I believe in going to the next level, but I don't believe in setting a time limit of a person should be healed. But I definitely say that a person definitely should be in the process of healing. My shirt actually says, you probably can't read it, but it says, "Sis, we gonna heal." And everything. We came up with that phrase that, "Sis, we gonna heal." And from that, that's basically what helped birth that. Looks like we got another outing over there. It's coming back now.
I was trying to pop in and trying to pop out still, but we gonna keep going. And I know I heard your sis. We gonna keep moving.
Right. Sis, we
Yeah,
gonna heal. So I came up with that phrase, and more so within it's on my t-shirt basically. Sis. They go see the sis part. Everything and we gonna heal is in gold. And so I came up with that part because I'm like, sis, we gonna heal. It's a process to heal. And so what we have to realize is that we actually need to at least start the process
yes,
and stuff. A lot of people they sweep it under the rug. They don't want to talk about it. They rather not even say they were pregnant, or yet alone even were lost a child. Honestly, if you talk the majority of the people, if you are literally, let's say, in a room with 10 people, I would say probably one person out of the room has lost a child. Either they don't want to talk about it, they don't know, or they had a chemical or something like that, but you don't know. But I really say we don't know who we really amongst. So definitely I believe in at least starting the process. So yes, that's how Mothers of Angels basically got started and stuff. I've actually started just making child loss boxes and everything. And so I thought I had one. Did I have one of these? So I basically have a journal. I created a journal. It said letters to my unborn, like you can write in a journal, and things like that. And then also I have I made charm bracelets, because this is some of the stuff that when I lost my baby, I know that I wanted a charm bracelet. But when I say it was so tough to get people to make a charm bracelet that was about losing my baby, because they didn't know what to put. They didn't know, they kept asking me what you want on. And I'm like, I lost the baby. Can you do the baby, the baby loss charms? And they wanted me to like go and look for everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what I learned is that that's not everybody's lane. It's not everybody's calling. It's not everybody to do that. So okay, why I'll take care of it. I'll do it. So I started making, the baby feet with a diamond on it, and different phrases and different things like that, to be able to help, you can wear daily. And everything. Of course, it came with other things inside of the box, a personalized note, and everything. I've even prayed over some oil, and specifically for healing, for child loss and everything. And to be able to give to specific, of course, people, not to everybody, and everything. So all of that basically to be able to help heal.
I like that. And healing is very important. I mean, as you know, I'm a grief and a loss strategist. I like what you said. You got to at least start the process. We don't realize how many people have not normalized grief, that we've made it so taboo to talk about death, that we've made it so that taboo to talk about our hurts, because our society has said just get over stuff. Our society has said don't cry, be strong. So depending on what background you come from and different things, you have just been silently suffering within you. I mean, I always say you're battling with the enemy within you, but the thing is, you're actually killing other relationships around you at the same time, because you're very angry, you're very bitter, and you haven't got to the place that you can actually have a conversation with yourself healthy before you start having conversations with other people healthy. So, yeah, begin the conversation. At least start talking about it. At least start healing. And one thing I said, there is no prescribed time for any specific person. I always tell people, time don't heal. It is what that you do in that time is what begins the healing. It can be 20 years and you can be in the same spot if you have not done anything different. So that's a misnomer when people tell you time heal. Time changes nothing except the day. It will not change your response, your reaction, your heart condition, your mindset. All of those things have to be done intentionally. I love that you have this little care box that you have for people. It's like that empathy, like you say, people don't have. They don't understand. Okay, in this season, I need you to have this prepared for me, so I don't have to think a little bit more because I'm already in a place where I don't want to think. So that's what people have to understand. I don't want to have to think this through. I just want somebody to kind of cater and nurture and walk me through this process. Be my light, be my light on the process. So I love that you even narrowed it down like to even a further niche of somebody, that heartbreak that will relate to you, and you're making that difference in these people's lives. And I want you to understand a little bit more, to tell people that you're just not dealing with people who have lost, you're dealing with people who have not, can't even start the process, the infertility part of it.
And that's the crazy thing. At first, it was just for child loss until I became and to dealing with half of the people that have lost the children have infertility issues. And so that's when I edited the mission statement and everything. I edited. I think we got another. She
Oh,
paused again.
I'm
Okay,
good.
there you go. Okay, okay. So, so basically, I edited the mission statement to include child loss and infertility. Because when you start thinking like, oh my gosh, do you know how many women have infertility issues? And everything they suffer from trying either to conceive or at least to hold. So when you're dealing with those type of issues, um, you have to be able to be there for them too. I believe in walking through because at the end of the day, you're walking through with me too. Yes, I've lost kids, but of course, then there may be an infertility issue in the midst of it. So definitely walking through the process because it is straining, draining. It can be depressing trying to literally get pregnant. And everything, all those emotions, all those hormones, and everything with trying to actually have a child. So definitely having a sisterhood, someone beside you that is able to walk the process with you makes it feel better that you're not the only one in this process. All right, give us just a moment, everybody. So definitely, while she comes back, basically, you're not alone in this process. You're definitely not the only one. Um, how good is the fact that it's not good that you're dealing with the issue, but it's good that you're not the only one dealing with the issue. Therefore, there is a way, there is a light to your situation. Definitely. So everyone, I guess she's coming back, but I'll continue to talk. So basically, also with dealing with child loss, we have to know that there are stages to healing. There are stages to dealing with these particular situations and everything. And so when we are dealing with the stages of healing, knowing that I'm not going to say there is no end, but it's totally different and everything. There.
Yep. I got off the computer and just went and got on my phone. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm glad you just kept talking and it was
Yeah,
so.
I was just talking about their stages to healing and everything. It feels good to know that basically you're not alone. I think that's one of the major thing of the sisterhood. That now it may be a couple of days. We write inside of our support group. I talk to my sisters every day. However, some people also they're silent in their healing, and that is not a problem. If you're silent in your healing, at all.
I
But the fact
100% agree. I think we push that there is only one way to heal. And if you are not doing it my way, that's not the right way. Um, I just believe that we all need to give people the freedom to grieve in their own unique way. And I always say this is a time when we need to have selflessness. We need to allow people self-preservation, in this space. So I am just honored that you are here sharing your group with us because I don't think people realize how many different aspects of grief there are, because a lot of times we only focus, we always like to talk about big losses, but they're little losses. People always like to say, well, my loss is bigger than your loss, or it happened different. We get in this whole comparison competition thing. Everybody's loss is significant to them, and we need to learn how to let people experience that way. And that's why I say, the enemy is trying to make sure we don't talk about this, especially in this season where we got COVID going on, and we got so many other types of loss going in the world. I don't want to lose sight of something that was happening way before COVID started, something that women were really struggling with. And I think a component is, a lot of times, even as women, we need to be in this group because we need to talk. We need to learn how to be able to talk to our spouses when we go through grief. That's a really big component, me and my husband talk about, because we both lost our spouse same year, same month. So we talk about how you need to talk about that grief so it doesn't create the gap and the distance in your relationship. So that's a component I really do, need to make sure that the mothers understand, okay, I lost because it was physically something that was in me, but how do I talk to my mate? How do I talk to the father? How do I, discuss, I know it wasn't his body. I know he didn't experience, but how do I talk with him about it when it was something that was announced to him, when he still felt excitement? There is an emotional concern and a connection and conversation that need to go on. So that way you're not killing all the other relationships in your life by just bottling it up.
I definitely agree with that. I actually did a segment on marriage and child loss.
Excellent.
It was called Men, Marriage, and Child Loss, and I actually allowed my husband to speak. And I did
Amen.
another couple coming into it to speak. And what I learned is that men heal differently. So where
Yes.
I thought where he was silent at that he did not care. No, he cared. He just healed differently. He's quiet. He's more so. I'm the um I'm the extrovert that's like loud, speaking on social media. I don't mind advocating for it. While he was the person that literally just was quiet, and everything and dealing with the situations. And then we have to learn to also be still in our marriages, because you cannot mix you losing a child and dealing and then allow it to strain the marriage. It can strain it, but then you have to
Mhm.
learn that you can't even make any deep decisions in the midst of trying and emotional decisions, because you're trying to make decisions on marriage when the problem is not the marriage, the problem is the child loss. Now, of course, you could have had issues prior to your marriage, even in the midst of you had you being pregnant. But I definitely say you have to learn to separate the two,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
try to communicate this part and then communicate that part. So, okay, if there is an issue in a marriage, then let's talk about that. Don't enter the child, losing a child in that conversation. So
yeah,
I try to talk to couples as well, because men heal differently. We think just because we birthed the child or we lost that we had the child, like you said, within our wombs, that he doesn't care or it doesn't matter, and everything. And then you have spouses um fighting over, oh well, it was my baby, I lost my, it's just too much.
yeah,
And everything, because the
yeah.
enemy will literally try to use a situation like that to break apart one. Majority, do you know that, like, even when a child passes away, like a lot of marriages split after, like, let's say someone's child passed away. I'm not talking about even child loss, as in like I'm talking about, like, even if your child was 12 years old and if you lost
Mhm.
a child, I've seen so many marriages broken up right after that child just is gone, and stuff, because a lot of course, energy was put into the child. So therefore, the marriage really wasn't building; they was building around the child. So, it's a lot to go into the aspect where definitely men is they heal different. I feel like everybody heals differently. Where a lot of people are silent and in their loss. I am vocal about mine.
Yeah,
So, and then sometimes we have to learn that just because a person is vocal about it does not mean that they are not healed. And it doesn't mean that they always want sympathy. I've had to tell multiple people, like, they try to inbox me and diagnose me with all these diseases because I speak on it. And I have to remind them, I talked about loss today because there's people that I want to reach. And
Mhm.
and I use my personal testimony, or I say, sis, you know, we gonna heal, or I say, sis, you know, we gonna have a baby in such and such a year. And you have people say yes, I always have people to inbox me and say that, and I have to make sure that I put that out there to people that my time is my timing. I won't let anybody rush my timing, and everything. However, if a person is vocal about child loss, it doesn't mean that they want sympathy. I don't want any sympathy at all. Of course, I want someone to have empathy, but
Yes.
the empathy and sympathy, I don't want no one to feel sorry for me. There are people that literally have asked me to be god kids to children, and I'll halfway know the adults. They just pick me because I lost kids. I don't want to be nobody godmama on that. Don't do that and everything, because if I want a child that bad, then I will promise to pick up my nieces or but it's different. It's different though. We're trying to birth your own. But at the same time, everybody vocalizes child loss differently. There are people that, like you was just saying, that have lost a child, let's say at 6 weeks. And so, but you have somebody over here that lost a child at 9 months. So this person over here don't want to hit the person that lost their child at 6 weeks don't want to talk about it because another person trying to make it like, well, that don't matter because you was just 6 weeks. No, if it was a fetus within that womb and everything, it mattered from the first moment that it happened. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. That's even Mother's Day just passed, and on Mother's Day, I wore my shirt that I am still a mother, even though I lost my baby. That doesn't change anything. I literally wore that shirt because at the end of the day, you're still a mother. At the end of
I
the day,
100% agree. Because the thing is, we have to realize we need to quit labeling things and judging people according to our particular situations. It does, like you see, that strain that we put on ourselves by that vision that we use, the 6 months, the 9 months, or a child who was 6 years old or 16-year old. Everybody has a different relationship and the capability, how they're taking it and how they're actually going through that process. And I do really want people to walk away, but when they see this show, like you said, be empathetic. Do not feel sorry for people. Do not push your pressures on them, because I still tell my story. But the thing is, it's a story so other people can relate and
right?
understand the journey. I'm not still back in 2012. What I want you to hear is what happened in 2012, but what I want you to see is the walk and the steps that I'm still taking right now. That's what the story is about. Sharing how far God has brought me, and is sharing how each of us want to share as a comforter, as a guide for other people through this journey. People need to be very careful, with the condolences and the sympathy and the sorry, because a lot of times it's at a place of irritation, not a place of true understanding of what's going on. Sometimes when people call themselves helping, I always want to say silence sometimes is the best policy. Just sit, listen to what the person has to say, whether they lost a person today, a year ago, or 10 years ago. Your opinion, because I know I have people who call for their friends and they say, oh, my friend lost somebody a year ago. It's about time for them to get over it. I want them to move on. I want them to find another man. Where is our place to say that? How is that our determination to put somebody on that timeline? So be very careful, like you say, pushing people to be godparents. That is not our place. If God has not orchestrated that, that is something that we're doing that is in our own messed up powers, because we think we're helping somebody, but we actually hurting them because we actually stab at them, being silly in our own mind. So really, let's make sure you send people to professional people who God has actually appointed and called to do this assignment, not just somebody who has a sympathetic ear, but who is actually an empathy and has actually went through this process and knows how to transition people through the process. That's very important.
That's good you said that because it's good to have a support group, but like when certain people get to a certain step, for an example, even in the support group, I say, hey, I'll say, hey, you definitely need to seek therapy, and stuff like that. And the person, they would expect, like, even though I'm sympathetic, of course, to child loss, However, if I feel or I see or Holy Spirit tells me, hey, this person needs to go to counseling, because I can be a listening ear, I can encourage, I can motivate, I can give some tips, but an actual therapist or counselor knows how to transition them, like you said, and everything. They know the steps, and then they know they're professional in that area. Sometimes other people be something that they're not supposed to be. So definitely I agree. I literally just to openly say I got a therapist. I've been going to therapy for about 2 months and I maybe had about 4 sessions. And when I say a good therapist will literally help you transition productive and everything. And so I know when I told one of my friends, I said, yeah, I saw a therapist. She said, you want to see a therapist? Like, it's that bad? What do you mean? Actually, I'm okay, but it's good to have a therapist before it get bad. So you ain't got to
Yes.
even go down that path. I said, there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. And everything. I've only had mine, like I said, for about 2 months. When I said she's amazing, like it's like she has one rule: when I leave out that office, I can't take it with me. I have to release it there and do not pick it back up. So and everything. But then there's also steps that we take that I have to do, and I have to come back and say, hey, this is what I did this week. So with child loss, the part of therapy, I'm actually going through anxiety exercises and different things like that, because I struggle from anxiety whenever I'm pregnant. Now, normally regular life I'm good, but when it comes down to pregnancy, of course, the fear of loss creates anxiety, and
Yep.
so there's the reason why I said, you know what, I'm gonna take it before I even get pregnant. While I'm trying to even in the process, because I think it'll be good for me, to do it, not wait till it happen. And
Mhm.
everything.
I like that you said that it's the preparation for your next. If you're really believing God for your next, and I am honored that you invited me in your group to be a listening ear in that space, to chime in when somebody speaks up and needs a little help in that direction. Because what I tell my clients, definitely do the preparation instead of speaking what's not going to happen. A lot of people say, oh, I'm never going to get married again. And they say that because they have fear of losing a spouse. It's not that they don't want a companionship. It's not that they don't want to be loved again. It's just that fear that I am going to have to deal with somebody else dying, and I don't want nobody else to get that close to me again. And like you say, you have to prepare your heart, your mind, your spirit. So it is a process to take yourselves through that. And I'm gonna say that right here, very transparent, because I said the same thing to God. But he's a great comedian. He will always make us do the things that say we ain't gonna never do. So just be careful when you say you're never gonna do something. Prepare for what it is that God is gonna bring to you, so you don't end up tearing that apart too as well.
Right.
So
I always say that it's good to prepare, so when you get there, you won't be trying to rush that level. We get to a point where God can listen and need for you to start getting better it. And we so in doubt, you know, to these very things. And that's a transparent moment for me. You be like, I ain't worried about that. I'm just gonna, do what I want to do. Cause I was in the moment, I was like, I'm gonna eat what I want or whatever. I said, and people's like, well, don't you trying to have a baby? I'm like, I'm not worried about that right now. Blah blah blah. But then God had hit me, and then I got sick one day, and I said, Lord, let me start make sure I do what I gotta do, like, and everything. So definitely, I agree with that. Like, it definitely, you have to prepare, and preparation is a part of faith,
yeah,
and everything. So you preparing for it, you're getting ready for it, and even if it don't happen in the timing, you're still in preparation for it. That's just like becoming a wife. A lot of people say, I got to prepare for my husband, or I got to prepare for my wife and stuff. Just like we prepare for stuff like that, we need to prepare for it all.
yeah. We prepare for jobs. Prepare for
Our
promotion.
future. Yeah.
Yeah, we prepare just waking up in the morning. We prepare our hair, our faces, our clothes, all of those things to take care of our outer selves. So we got to make sure we're preparing our inner selves in that same way. Like you say, hey, I'm not going to worry about those things. But the thing is, it's not necessarily worrying about them. It's actually just doing them to change some habits. So you saying that I have faith in what God said he was going to do for me. And that's all it is being obedient and saying, I believe God is going to do what he's going to do for me. So I think that is awesome. And in spite of everything that has tried to stop this show from happening, from part 1 to part 2, let me tell you all, if you are listening to this and you get to see part 1 and part 2, I definitely want you to support India Hartman. She has what we've talked about here is 3 different ministries, whether it's you helping the youth, whether it is you helping the your personal business being birthed into ministry, or whether it's you helping the women and the couples who need to actually be comforted. However, you can join and connect with her. So, India, tell us, how we can join and connect with you with your various ministries.
Okay, definitely. My social media page is India Andrews Hartman. If you want it all in one. If you want websites, you have Love Speaks, which is the youth organization. It's www.lovespeaksinc.org. Mothers of Angels, which is what we're talking about here, is www.mothersofangelsinc.org. And then of course Hartman Consulting, if you need your business being birthed, and everything LLC nonprofits, then that is hartmanconsulting1.com. So any of those, any of those things that we can help you with, help you birth, you just need a listening ear, or you need a community to join, and you just want to post one day, said, we try to have regular conversations inside the group as well. I stop making it all about child loss, because sometimes looking at that stuff all day can make us down. So I start, putting other stuff in there. How they doing? What they doing for the weekend? Or doing so definitely. So yes, those are the ways to contact me.
Excellent, excellent. So I thank you for joining me twice to make sure this message got out. But I'm going to tell you, y'all, my closing message is always on my show is to make today better than yesterday. And that's a choice that we have to make, and we have to be intentional about it. So I am telling you, make your today better than yesterday. So even if it is just a simple shift in your mind thought or the words that you speak into your life, this is an opportunity for you to do the work on this phenomenal vehicle that God created, because he is the master relationship and we are here as his mechanics. We just stepping in, giving y'all some tools and some skills that are unlocked within you. That's what they got to be unlocked within you, so you can do the work on yourself, so you can be
Right.
that vehicle that God said to get to your next place. So I'm looking forward to how to connect with you, collaborate, partner with you, and help you on this journey in your different marketplace ministries. So definitely let me know how I can do that with you. And I definitely encourage my listeners and my viewers to jump in and support the things that are helping our community. And that's why I say these things were going on pre-COVID. So we don't need to just isolate ourselves on, a lot of times we focus on what's going on right now, that we forget the people that were actually hurting before just the season. And we don't want to lose that group of people either and downplay their hurt. So be careful. I know the economy is changing. I know a lot of people as far as businesses, but let's not forget the people that live next door to us, and let's support what is going on in their lives, and let's have an empathetic voice and an empathetic ear. And always you can refer anybody right here to us. And if it's not in my lane, I know a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of people that I can send and refer you to. So I am blessed that you joined me again, and I look
Thank
forward
you for
to
the
us.
opportunity.
Yeah, I look forward toward our further connections. Thank you, ma'am.